Hey guys! Welcome back to another video. Today we'll talk about consumer choice and marginal analysis. Let's get started. Marginal analysis compares the marginal benefits and costs in order to make a decision. It focuses on incremental changes and evaluating the costs and benefits of using one additional unit, making it different from cost-benefit analysis, which evaluates the total cost and total benefit. There is a common phrase that you may hear. Optimal decisions are made at the margin. This means that the best choices are made by considering the additional or marginal benefits and costs of a small change in an action rather than looking at the overall total benefits and costs. We've been using the word marginal a lot, but what does it mean? In terms of this topic, marginal means the change in the total. So marginal benefit/cost would mean the change in the total benefit/cost. Marginal benefit or marginal utility, these words can be used interchangeably, is the extra satisfaction a consumer gets from consuming an additional unit. Let's see an example. Here is the benefit chart for consuming ice cream. On the left we have the number of ice cream consumed, and in the middle we have the total benefit as you consume more ice cream. Let's fill out the marginal benefit column. Remember that marginal means a change in total, so marginal benefit would be the change in total benefit with each additional unit. If you go from eating 0 ice creams with a total benefit of 0 to 1 ice cream with a total benefit of 100, that marginal benefit is 100. If you eat the second ice cream, your total benefit goes from 100 up to 150, and the marginal benefit would be 50. The third ice cream has a marginal benefit of 40. The fourth ice cream has a marginal benefit of 30. And finally, the last ice cream has a marginal benefit of 20. As you can see, as you do more of anything, the marginal benefit of the activity tends to decrease with each additional unit. This will lead to a downward sloping marginal benefit curve, like this one. Marginal cost is the extra cost a consumer gets from consuming an additional unit. Let's reuse the ice cream example. Here is the cost chart for consuming ice cream. Again, on the left we have the number of ice cream consumed, and in the middle we have the total cost as you consume more ice cream. We'll fill out the marginal cost column. Remember that marginal means a change in total, so marginal cost would be the change in total cost with each additional unit. If you go from eating 0 ice creams with a total cost of 0 to 1 ice cream with a total cost of 5, that marginal cost is 5. If you eat the second ice cream, your total cost goes from 5 up to 15, and the marginal cost would be 10. The third ice cream has a marginal cost of 15. The fourth ice cream has a marginal cost of 20. And finally, the last ice cream has a marginal cost of 25. Typically, as you do more of anything, the marginal cost of the activity tends to increase. This leads to an upward sloping marginal cost curve. Now let's use this knowledge to go over how a rational consumer can maximize their benefit. A person maximizes benefit when they keep doing something as long as the marginal benefit is greater than or equal to the marginal cost. To maximize your benefits when eating the ice cream, you would consume the first one because the marginal benefit of 100 is greater than the marginal cost of 5. You would also consume the second ice cream because the marginal benefit of 50 is greater than 10. You would also eat the third and the fourth ice cream for the same reason. However, eating the fifth ice cream would not maximize your benefit because the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. Benefit maximization is found where marginal benefit equals marginal cost. If they are never equal, like in our example, the largest quantity where marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost will maximize benefit. On a graph, marginal cost curves slope upward and marginal benefit curves slope downward. The benefit maximizing quantity is found where the marginal benefit and marginal cost curves intersect. This is where marginal benefit equals marginal cost. Before moving on, we need to discuss consumer behavior. Marginal analysis can be applied to consumer behavior by understanding the concept of diminishing marginal utility and the consumer choice theory. The law of diminishing marginal utility states that the more of a good a consumer consumes, the less additional satisfaction, benefit, or marginal utility they receive from each additional unit. In the ice cream example, as you consumed more ice cream, your total utility increased but your marginal utility decreased. The consumer choice theory states that consumers face constraints and have to make optimal and rational decisions accounting for these constraints. Generally, these constraints refer to income and budget limits. Based on those concepts, we can discuss utility maximization. Utility maximization occurs when consumers make economic decisions that guarantee the highest level of consumer satisfaction or utility while staying within their income limits. Utility maximization occurs when the marginal utility per dollar for all the goods you purchase are equal. The marginal utility per dollar is a calculation of a value to price ratio for the consumption of an additional unit of a product. The formula is marginal utility divided by price. So the utility maximization expression would look something like this. The marginal utility of good X divided by the price of good X is equal to the marginal utility of good Y divided by the price of good Y. Let's look at an example of utility maximization. I will keep the important expressions and formulas on the left. You have $10 to spend on cookies and milk. Which combination of cookies and milk would maximize your utility? First, we must find the marginal utility per dollar and then we need to compare them to make our decision. The price of cookies is $4. For the first cookie, the marginal utility of 200 will be divided by the price of $4, giving us 50 utils per dollar. For the second cookie, 100 divided by $4 gives us 25 utils per dollar. Continuing this pattern, you can fill in the rest of the chart. The price for a glass of milk is $2. For the first glass, the marginal utility of 50 will be divided by the price of $2, giving us 25 utils per dollar. For the second cookie, 45 divided by $2 gives us 22.5 utils per dollar. Continuing this pattern, you can also fill in the rest of the chart. With these values, we can now figure out the utility maximizing combination. We will spend the money on one good at a time on the product with the highest marginal utility per dollar. The first unit that we should purchase is one cookie because it has the highest marginal utility per dollar. We now have $6 left, and for the next unit, both the cookie and milk have the same marginal utility per dollar, so it doesn't matter which good we choose. Let's go with another cookie. And for our final good and last $2, we will get a glass of milk because its marginal utility per dollar is higher. So, the utility maximizing combination is 2 cookies and 1 milk. Notice how the last dollars spent on both goods have the same marginal utility per dollar? This confirms the utility maximization expression from earlier. This was a lot of information. Thanks for watching and make sure to like and subscribe. See you soon.